Hey everybody, it is cold here today. It is raining out. I am in this is my home studio. It's basically my desk and my gym. So it's chilly down here. So I'm all bundled up. My nose is a little red, but I want to make sure I take the time today to break down some really important topics for you as we venture into these 10 days together. So we will learn a bit about Ayurveda at the end of this video. I'm going to give you another short video to watch, which will introduce you to Ayurveda. And throughout the course of the week, we'll continue to learn about Ayurveda. But what I really want to focus on today is transitioning into that Ayurvedically minded meal plan. And since we're eliminating so many things from our diet, mostly the heavy hitters, dairy, gluten, and soy, along with any processed or packaged foods, caffeine, and alcohol, there is going to be some potential hurdles and bumps in the road for some of you guys that are reliant on some of those things. And I really want to speak to caffeine because that's probably one of the biggest ones. Caffeine and really sugars. Those are the ones that most people have the biggest hurdle getting over. And this might be your first day off caffeine. Yesterday might have been your first day. And so you might already be experiencing some lethargy or some side effect from that, let's say. So those of you that are caffeine consumers and do drink coffee every single day, there's one thing that I really ultimately want you to consider, and that is ritual. And coffee is a ritual, whether it's the coffee that you have every single day or there's something else that you do, whether it benefits you or does not benefit you. Ritual is so very important. So through the course of this 10 days and moving forward, I really want you to find a ritual that will replace that coffee habit and that will work for you. So I highly recommend starting every day when you're cleansing with warm water with lemon. Just heat up warm water in a kettle. I add maybe a quarter to a third of a lemon. Some people do find this aggravating to their teeth. If so, look at how much lemon that you're adding. It might be more than your teeth can handle. Or if lemon just really bothers your teeth for whatever reason, then don't do it. You can do one of my other options. But I do find that lemon is great. It is, and it does have an acid state, but once it's in your body, it has an alkaline ash. So it's a great way to alkalize first thing in the morning. It's a great way to add a bitter to your diet so that you're immediately starting to flush your system and encourage a healthy digestion and elimination cycle. And of course, it's a great way to hydrate. So every morning, we have the term breakfast. Breakfast is actually 2 words, break, fast. You're breaking a fast. So when you get up in the morning, the first thing you want to do is hydrate because you have not put any water in your body for 10, maybe 12, maybe 8 hours, whatever it is. So the first thing you need to do is hydrate. So you're either flushing your body with a big glass of water or water with lemon. I recommend room temperature and not cold water, or you're having a hot mug of something, and I recommend a hot mug of lemon water. So a lot of times what happens when you get off caffeine, for those of you that are normal coffee doers, is you're going to get a withdrawal symptom, and that's typically a dull nagging headache, and it is not fun, and it lasts generally for 2 to 3 days. Some people it's more, some people it's less. So the best way to take care of that, it's just like getting off any other stimulant or any other drug. You guys, you're on drugs. Food is a drug. Stimulants are drugs. So it's just like getting off any other drug. You just kind of have to ride it out. It does kind of suck. The best things you can do is keep your body hydrated. You can practice Ishnan, which is one of the 7 modalities I'll teach you later. But essentially that's like hopping in the shower and flushing your body with cold water, then hot water, then cold water, then hot water. It might suck. Some people love it, but it definitely does help with some of your caffeine withdrawal symptoms. You can also opt to do a tea instead of coffee. Dandelion tea is great. It has a musky flavor, which kind of gives you that warmth, muskiness that a coffee would give, but it also has a great diuretic property to it, so it can help flush excess fluids from your body. Mate, yerba mate is another option. It does have a slight stimulant effect on your body. It does have that up, so I would be a little bit careful of overusing it if you're trying to get off stimulants. However, it does have more of an alkaline effect in your body, and it is rich in antioxidants, so I do approve that. And then green tea would be the last one I would recommend as well. Again, green tea is full of caffeine, and it can even have more caffeine in it than a cup of coffee. So if you're going to do green tea, I'm guessing it's because you're getting that nagging headache and you really just need to do anything to break it. And I would recommend taking your tea bag and steeping it in like a little, not a Dixie cup, but like a tiny bit of water for, I don't know, 30 to 60 seconds first, and then taking that tea bag and putting it into your mug that you want to steep it in. Because most of the caffeine is going to be released into that little bit of water. You're not taking that water like a shot, you're throwing that water away. But that's a great trick, if you will, for getting off caffeine. I took some notes over here that I wanted to talk to you guys about this morning, so I'm going to be glancing at these every now and again. A couple other things to remember, those of you that do a pre-workout tonic, that is not going to be okay during this program. I love my pre-workout. Believe me, it sucks to put it aside. But again, those have caffeine, they have stimulants in them. And you just want to make sure that during this time, these 10 days, this is an opportunity for your body to rest and reset. We want to get back to our baseline so you can determine what your body really needs. And that'll also help you determine what you need to invest in. Why invest in a pre-workout if your body does not need a pre-workout? That is my philosophy. If you're coming upon things, you've gone through the grocery list and you're shopping, or you have things in your cabinet and you're like, I wonder if this is allowed on this cleanse, if you will. I wonder if I can have this. If you ever have that question, ask yourself why you need to have it, because you likely don't need it, and it's exactly why you need to take it out. So ask yourself, why do I need this? And you might need to ask yourself that 5 times, because the first answer might be because I'm craving it, or because it tastes really good, or because it's going to make my vegetables taste better. So you're going to have to ask yourself again, well, why do I need my vegetables to taste better? Is it because your palate is so tainted from our standard American diet, or from processed foods, or foods rich in MSG, or artificial flavors, or salts, and that sort of thing? So again, we're trying to get back to our baseline. So if you can eliminate it from your diet, if it's something that you're like, I'm not really sure, is ketchup in? Ketchup is not in. But let's just say that was your question. You have to ask yourself again, well, why do I need ketchup? What am I trying to cover up in the food? Why don't I appreciate this food? Is there another food source that would be better for me that I could appreciate, based on all those things? So I think you can figure that out. And let me see what else I wanted to talk to you guys about. Oh, dips in energy levels. So this is really important, and I find this happens a lot, especially when you're on a program where you're eliminating food. Most of us do. We're often not even conscious that we are so reliant on food as a drug. And when I say that, it's typically sugar or processed foods, or something that has some sort of upper in it. So I have found over the course of the past 10 years that I've been leading these nutrition workshops that most people hit an energy lull in the afternoon sometime after lunch. It's not everybody, but that's often when people hit it. And the first thing that they do is they go and they reach for something that's high in sugar or concentrated sugars. So you might even say, I don't keep any junk food in my house. I have trail mix, or I eat dried fruit, but those right there can have really high concentrated sugars in it. If your trail mix has dried fruit, if you're eating dried fruit, right, those are really high concentrated sugars. You might also reach for chocolate. You might reach for a cookie or some grain food product that's just processed, like a muffin, any of that stuff. Again, when you're reaching for it because you're feeling like you're going to fall asleep, or you're feeling that energy lull and you need to pick me up, you are literally using food as a drug, because it is the sugars, it is the stimulants that are in that food that are waking you up. And what ends up happening is a cycle, right? It's just like caffeine. You're going to get your sugar rush, you're going to get a cycle high, and then you're going to go back down. And it's a dangerous cycle to be in, because you will always be in it and you won't be able to get out of it. So this is the perfect time in your day if you're like needing that upper, you want your caffeine or you want your sugar high. This is the perfect time to change your physiology, to change your state. And I recommend, if you can, get outdoors, breathe fresh air, go run some steps, go walk around the block. You want to change the scenery. You want to get your body moving. It's also a great time to do your workout of the day. And often we think we don't have energy for it, or we might be like, well, I'm craving food, and we've got all these excuses. But once you actually get your body moving and you start to release all of those great endorphins, all of those other things go away. You regain your natural balance of energy, your cravings go away. So I often recommend to try to do that. Even if it's doing something low impact, just start. You can start with abs laying on your back, and my guess is you're going to do 5 minutes of abs and you're going to start to feel those endorphins kick in and you're going to want to do more. So ease your way into it if that's trouble for you. It's also a great opportunity to just make a cup of tea and rest. If you can really tell, hey, I'm really tired, my body really needs rest. Your body probably does need rest. You're probably driving it into the ground. So I always recommend a 10-minute cat nap can be really great. A cup of tea can be really great. This is a great opportunity to meditate and also to use a practice I used to teach a lot in my nutrition workshops called Stop, Breathe, and Analyze, SBA, Stop, Breathe, and Analyze. And it's an opportunity more or less like a meditation for you to go in. You just close your eyes and you truly just stop and you think about what you're about to do. So if it's that you're about to run into the cabinet and grab the first cookie that you can see, or run into the refrigerator and grab the first cold coffee you can see, or whatever it is that's going to remedy your situation, you have to ask yourself all of those steps. Like, how is this going to feel going in? Is this really going to be serving my body? Is this going to satiate my craving? Is this just a temporary fix for something and 5 minutes later I'm going to be in the same cycle and I'm going to want to put more into my body? And how am I going to feel? How am I going to feel 10 minutes and 20 minutes and 30 minutes after this? How's my subconscious going to feel? How's my body going to feel? How's the choice I made for myself going to feel? And really analyzing that and to see if you're using your food as a drug to cover up a temporary situation, or if you're actually really nourishing your body and making a smart choice for yourself. This is also a great time that those of you that have Shakeology already, that you can have a shake. I find that it's pivotal for me when I get an energy low to power pack nutrients into my body, not just random foods, but if I can flush my body with like a fresh pressed green juice, not a sugary juice, so it doesn't have apple, it doesn't have, carrots and all the extra sugary stuff. It's going to be like cucumber, celery, spinach, maybe half an apple just for flavor, lemon, maybe ginger. But that sort of tonic is going to lift me up. Or if I have, if I'm close to my blender, I can make a superfood shaker. If I have my shaker with me, I often have my Shakeology packets with me. I can easily shake up a shake, and that's going to flush my body with nutrients. Plus, Shakeology has like a massive amount of adaptogenic herbs that are going to help to bring my body back into balance and to raise my energy levels. So that brings me to a couple of specific adaptogenic herbs, vitamins, and nutrients I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. The first one being ashwagandha, and I learned about ashwagandha years ago. It's one of the most revered Ayurvedic herbs. It's an adaptogenic herb. It's something that works in anyone's body. So what adaptogen means is that it brings your body into balance. It is known to relieve stress. It is known to help to balance your blood sugar levels. It is known to help balance your cortisol levels. Cortisol is the hormone that releases fat, and you get stubborn belly fat from it. It can be nourishing to lactating moms and help support lactation. It boosts your energy, it boosts your vigor, and it can improve concentration. So you can use ashwagandha with some other herbs. You can find recipes online to make it as a coffee substitution, or you can get it in many different forms to take it on the regular. It is in Shakeology. It's one of the reasons why I love Shakeology. Shakeology just happens to have a lot of Ayurvedic herbs in it, so I kind of geek out on it. Another one I wanted to mention was spirulina and chlorella. Spirulina and chlorella are great algae-based, alkalizing, vegetarian-based forms of protein, as well as B12. So most people think that as a vegetarian, you can't get B12 in your diet unless you supplement it, which is fairly true. But most people also think that if you eat a land meat diet, so if you have beef in your diet, that you're sufficiently covered in your B12, and that is not true. So B12 actually comes from a bacteria that is grown in soil. So, unless you're eating, if you're a meat eater and you're eating grass-fed meat, then your cows are most likely munching the dirt and they're getting that bacteria in their stomach, and that bacteria can remain in an animal's gut. So you can get, if you're eating really greatly grown grass-fed meat, you can get some B12. However, the bulk of individuals are eating industrialized meat, and most of the cows are not out in the pasture. They're in pens and they're eating specific foods, grain foods that are given to them, even some grass foods that are given to them. But the point being is that they are pumped with antibiotics. Once you put antibiotics into a cow, it can no longer hold on to that bacteria in its gut because an antibiotic kills bacteria. So even if it was consuming something with B12, it's going to be pushed out of its body. So those of you that are on a land animal protein diet and think you're sufficient in B12, you're most likely not. Vegetarians, you can get B12 from vegetables that are grown in B12 rich soil. However, most of us get home and then we wash the vegetables or we buy conventional produce, which has been bleached highly. And then we're shaving the skin off. And the skin is where you have a lot of the nutrient density because you're getting all of that B12 and the other nutrients from the soil that are sitting there in the dirt and the skin. So if you can get your produce from a reputable farm that you know and love, if you're in it, like I have the farm out here in San Diego that I trust, I know the farmer, I can get anything from her and I can even just brush off some of, like if I were to have a carrot, I don't even need to wash the carrots. I can just brush the dirt off and eat the rest and that's fine. Not everybody is as granola and crunchy as me and you're not going to want to do that. But it is an option. If you don't know where your produce is coming from, don't do that. Wash it because most produce these days is laden with pesticides and other horrible things. So that's the bulk of what I wanted to tell you about B12. The last thing I wanted to mention was moringa. And moringa happens to be just one of my favorite superfoods. When I learned about it, I was fast to run out and buy as much moringa as I can. As a matter of fact, I have a moringa tree growing in my yard. It's quite small at this point. I just got back from Mexico and we had one at our rental and it was a 3-story moringa tree. I was like, oh my gosh, our superfood shakes. So moringa is, again, a hugely revered Ayurveda herb. It's got, here's some of the benefits of it because it's more than I can remember. It's got 92 nutrients, 46 natural antioxidants, as well as anti-inflammatory compounds. One serving is said to have 3 times more vitamin A than a serving of carrots, more vitamin C than 7 oranges, 3 times the iron of spinach, 4 times the calcium in milk, 3 times the potassium in a banana. And like I said, it's been revered as an Ayurvedic herb for a really long time. It's been known to be a preventative in over 300 different diseases. And Ayurveda, I can't tell you what diseases, but it's so rich in nutrients and antioxidants that obviously it's preventative medicine. Ayurveda looks at disease just like they look at breakfast as 2 words, breaking a fast. Disease is 2 words, dis and ease. So disease, according to Ayurveda, starts or stems from dis-ease in your digestion. So if you're eating something and you're not digesting it properly, then your body is not going to be able to absorb and assimilate the nutrients from it. So all of those things that I just mentioned, along with some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, that's all in Shakeology, you guys. Like, this is why I tell you gotta have it. I'll tell you a little bit of my story, but it has completely changed the game of health for me. But here's something to consider, and this isn't going to be the pretty talk. This is going to be the poop talk, and the poop talk is really important, and I have it a lot because if you know my struggle, then you also know my strength, and it had to do with pooping. But bottom line, elimination. When you're eliminating, you need to be eliminating daily. First of all, you should be eliminating multiple times a day. Think about a baby. A baby eats, a baby poops because their digestive tract is clean. Most of us as adults, we don't have that sort of ability. We no longer have the cleanliness that a baby has. So our digestive tract becomes tainted and we don't eliminate as much. However, when you do eliminate, you need to look at your stool. Might not be your favorite thing to do, but you need to look at it because you can learn a lot from the size, the consistency, and the color of your stool. And I'm not going to go deep into it here. I'll talk a little bit about it, but you can definitely look up an infographic and find out what yours is telling you. If you look at your stool and you see undigested particles of food, like you see corn, you see quinoa, you see rice, these are all easily identifiable things if you know you ate it, or if you see peppers or something like that. There's 2 parts. One part might be being utterly aware, like, I am not digesting that food, which could mean 2 different things. It could mean that, one, you just need to prepare your food differently, and this is where Ayurveda really can help you out. If it's a grain food, you might need to soak your grains and rinse them soak them for a while following the grain charts. You can find them in like the dry section of Whole Foods and that sort of thing. They usually have them. You can look them up online. But you want to soak your grain and rinse it well to release the enzyme inhibitor on it. It has phytic acid on it. It's an enzyme inhibitor. Enzymes help break down your food. If I didn't mention it before, we are all said to have a specific amount of enzymes in our body when we're born. And as we age, they diminish. And that's also why you see aging individuals sometimes not be able to digest their food as well, and they have to eat mushy food or really, really well cooked foods because they cannot no longer digest their food. They don't have the enzyme prowess in their body anymore. Sorry, that went quiet on me there. So another option would be to take digestive enzymes with your meals. That's something you can totally do, and that will help you digest your meals as well. Shakeology also has digestive enzymes in it. I'm telling you guys, it's a one-hit wonder. Okay, so other things I wanted to mention, I think that covers the bulk. But let me tell you really quick, for those of you, this is getting long, this is a 20-minute video, it's going to take forever to upload. Let me tell you really quick, wrap it up here before I shift you into Ayurveda. And the Ayurveda video I have for you guys is really short today, but I'm just going to give you a little background on me and how I even came to do this. For those of you, if you can watch my transformation video, or if you know me, you really know my story, but ultimately I grew up sick, very, very sick. I spent more time in children's hospital in some years of my life than I did in school. I was poked, I was prodded, I was constantly drinking tonics to go under x-rays and be tested. I had my appendix removed. I was chronically constipated. That went well into my adulthood. I got stomach aches every single day. No one knew what was wrong with me. The doctors ended up telling my parents that I was lactose intolerant and ended at that. This is, you guys, this is over 30 years ago. So we're not talking, at this point, people aren't really talking about the effects of gluten. They're not talking the effects of soy. They're not talking about the effects of our industrialized food system. I grew up on Wonder White bread, stuff in mac and cheese. We weren't talking about those things back then. So ultimately, the reason why I found health and started studying health is because I wanted to cure myself. As I got to be in my 20s, in my later teens, I was just tired of feeling sick and tired all the time. My digestion was still horrible. My elimination was still horrible. My energy levels were horrible. In my 30s, I started to blame everything on hormones because that's the hot topic. I'm like, okay, I'm tired. My weight is stubborn. Everything that's conditional of hormone disruption is happening here. And of course, with everything we talk about with adrenals and the hormone disruptors in our food and in our environment and in the products we put on our body and the products that are in our household cleaning supplies, I immediately went to that place, which was that I've got an adrenal dysfunction, I've got a hormone dysfunction that I need to fix. So over the years, I had started studying health. I was just always interested in health booklets, even though necessarily I wasn't always doing the healthy thing. I was trying to learn. In my 30s, I really pursued holistic health, and that's when I started studying as a holistic health practitioner and did my certification for that and clinical nutritionist, and got into yoga and started studying yoga and started to teach all these things, Ayurveda, raw foods, everything. And what I found through the course of that was I started cleansing, and cleansing really got me to a space where I was taking out these things that I'm having you guys take out this week: dairy, soy, gluten, along with the refined and processed foods, along with the alcohol, along with the caffeine, and really had me focus on a whole foods diet. And it was hard because it was like, how do I flavor my food? It's boring. I had to learn to use, herbs, fresh herbs like basil and dill and mint and cilantro. I had to learn to season my dressings with lemon and avocado instead of dumping on highly acidic foods or pre-prepared dressing. I had to learn that I can make a really good dressing with tahini and lemon and coconut aminos. These are all things that I picked up over time. But ultimately, this whole act of cleansing really got me to a space where I was able to see that it wasn't just that I was affected by dairy. I was affected by dairy, gluten, soy, heavily processed foods, a lot of green foods. And I learned, what are the foods that I can eat and what can't I eat? And Ayurveda specifically taught me how to prepare the foods that I thought I couldn't eat so I could eat them, or what are the foods that are healthy, like cauliflower and broccoli, that I would just think I should be able to eat that I can't eat for my body type, or how to prepare them correctly to eat them for my body type so that I can digest them. I couldn't eat them raw, but I can eat them really, 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 really cooked. So there's a lot of key components that you'll learn throughout this, but ultimately when I got to where I am now, and I started on Shakeology 3 years ago, I was the biggest skeptic in the world when it came to Shakeology. I reached out to my Beachbody coach specifically for the fitness challenge. I wanted to learn from her. I wanted to see what she was doing. Of course, I already had a health and wellness business, so I was interested to see how you can take it up and do something that reached more people nationally. My whole goal was to educate more people nationally. But also to help myself to break this plateau in my energy levels, to break this plateau in my fitness. And of course, she wanted me to start on a challenge with her, which came with Shakeology. And you guys, I had every superfood under the sun. I'd spent thousands of dollars on it. I worked for a superfood company out here in San Diego. And in my opinion, I'm like, they've sourced things well. You know, I'm putting this thing in my body that's good for me. I don't necessarily feel different. I feel healthy. My digestion hasn't changed. My elimination hasn't changed, but I know I'm putting good food in my body. So I know I'm doing the best that I can. Well, push came to shove to sign up for the challenge. She had me get Shakeology. I was just like, fine, whatever, it's money back guarantee. I got it. I looked at the nutrition label. I was blown away. I saw that there weren't any additives. There wasn't anything that was funky in it. It had more superfoods in it than I even had in my bin, which was thousands of dollars of superfoods. And I started on it. And 3 days in, me and my boyfriend were calling it crackology. My energy levels were through the roof. My digestion had totally shifted. My elimination had totally shifted. And for someone like myself, who for the past near 40 years had been struggling with those things, you know, my weight even started to shift. I started to lean down. Like all of those things came into balance for me. And so I could not dismiss the fact that there was something very powerful in this superfood product. And now that I've worked with the company longer, I understand why. It is because of the incredible globally harvested ingredients, the incredible sourcing, the farms that they source from. So I just wanted to share that because I want you to understand too why I encourage everybody to get on it. It really does make a difference. It's made a difference for me. It's made a difference for a lot of pretty much all of my clients who have ever gotten on it. So if you are on Shakeology yourself, you might even comment below what it's done for you. I would love to hear your testimonial and your story with it. I geek out on the stories like that. But that's it for today. Just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself as well, so you knew where I was coming from with this and why I enjoy helping people so much. I mean, coaching now has truly become my insurance policy, if you will, because Shakeology is my medicine, and now I earn it for free every month. Just for doing what I love and helping people and educating them on what's worked for me in my life. So if you guys have any questions on the meal plan, if you have any questions so far on anything, go ahead and comment below and I will address those for you. Also, I'll be linking in a video I want you to watch today on Ayurveda. I know this is a long video day. This is the longest video day ever. It will never be this long again. I guarantee it. But the video you're going to watch is just a couple minutes. It's a brief introduction and sets you up for the rest of our week. Have a great rest of your day, you guys. I hope this meets you in a space of heart. Comment below and I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Bye.